What's up, tubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing, back at you tonight again for some more lake breakdowns. We're actually going to finish up Lake Waco tonight. So we already went through the Google Earth stuff. If you missed the Google Earth videos, make sure to go check those out on the YouTube channel. You can go down to lake breakdowns, see not only this lake, but tons of other lakes we've done out there. We're getting close to, I think, 70 different lakes now. As far as the lake breakdowns, I don't know if I'm caught up to the website yet, but definitely getting up there and getting pretty close to covering the entire state of Texas. We still have a handful to do, probably 20 lakes or so, but we will have the entire state covered soon. So tonight, we got to finish up Lake Waco. We got to go back out there using the web app, or not the web app, the mobile app for Navionics, their boating app. We're going to use that to look at the contours. I'm going to show you guys what I found. Let's go. All right, well, let's go ahead and jump into Lake Waco and see what we can find here from the offshore standpoint. If you missed the earlier videos, just make sure to go out, check out that lake breakdown playlist that will have the two videos that we did for Lake Waco from the Google Earth side, so you can see all those waypoints. And now we're going to go over the offshore stuff, and make sure to go out to our website, simplisticfishing.com, so you can pick up all these offshore waypoints plus the Google Earth waypoints, put them on your graph. It'll change the way you fish, I promise you that. All right, so let's go ahead and start here. We're going to start at the dam like we usually do. We're going to work our way up the east side. I think we can get all this done in one video, so let's go ahead and just jump in, see what we can find. Now, I said that was the dam. I don't know where the dam is at on this lake. Actually, I think it was right up here. All right, so starting at the dam, we're going to move up. Now, I didn't see too much. There is some interesting stuff in here, some pretty good ledges and stuff like that. Right in here looks somewhat interesting too. Looks like you may have some breaks right here as well as over on this side. But for me, the thing that I really liked was right over here. I like these two little points, this edge of the island right here, and also this edge right in here that you see right here, right where that fish marker is. And there actually could be a brush pile or something like that there too. But if you notice these little red dots, this says that these are all foundations. So you might want to go up here and get up on top of this flat and just kind of scan around and see if you can find anything in that area, because there could be some potential stuff in there. Obviously, I can't see it on Google Earth imaging, and if no one marked it here, I wouldn't know either. The other spot that I really like right here is right here. Now, I didn't put a mark here. Probably should have. Obviously, I can't mark every single offshore spot, but this looks like it could be a pretty good little ledge right here. So when you come over here, you kind of got the same thing on this side. You got a little point that comes out here. The deal with here is you've got a Texas Park and Wildlife fish attractor or some type of fish attractor setting there. So obviously you want to look there, but when you're fishing there, also come over and check this out over on this side too, because you've got a pretty good ledge here, and it's possible that creek channel's coming up and just touching the edge of that, and right there would be right where they would set, right in that area. So make sure you go check that out. And then just kind of looking back here, I didn't see too much going on back here. Again, you got some of these little breaks and stuff like that, but nothing major. These two spots right here, definitely from an offshore standpoint, would be at areas that I would go look at for sure. Now, you've also got this main lake point. I've kind of backed out here, going over here. We've also got this main lake point that's right here. And now it says Airport Rock, so obviously there must be rocks up there as well. But a rocky point, I mean, that is just really, 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 really good. So you definitely want to go check that out. Now, if you notice here on Navionics, you see all these different fishing facilities that are all out here. Now, I don't know if these are the fishing facilities that I marked for you guys that we got from the Friends of Waco and the Texas Park and Wildlife, because there were a bunch of them. But if not, there's potential that you've got brush piles up all along around this point. You've got one here, you got one out here on the point, and then you got two more down here that someone says that they're there. Now, I can't validate those or not, and if they're not validated with the points that I put on for Texas Parks and Wildlife fish attractors, then that's just someone saying that they're out there. You've also got a couple more that are up here. Notice all of these, and they just scatter all along that bank line. So maybe just, if you have time, go out there by Ron's Marina and scan that whole entire bank line for brush piles and debris and stuff like that. You might be surprised at what you'll find. All right, so as we come up here and we get around the airport park campground, really good point right here, nice flat top on it, really good break off the edge of it. Really like that spot right there as well. You also want to spend a lot of time focusing on any of these points that are over here by these bins. So right here would be a good spot. Let's go ahead and mark that one. And then also, as you're moving on down right here, this marker here, definitely a good spot right there for you guys. Pretty much any of these points that touch. So right here is another good spot. You could also even check out this little this secondary point right here and see if you could find anything there. Pretty much this entire bluff wall should have, if it's not a bluff wall, it should have a really good break somewhere really close by. It looks like it's really, really deep, like at 6 foot up by the bank. It just continues to go down. So this entire bank line, going to be a good bank line for you guys for sure. And then obviously right here where you have that big break right there as well. That's going to be a good spot for you too. So you guys know me if you've ever watched any of my lake breakdown videos. I love fishing around creek channels and creeks. I just feel like that is where the majority of the fish live. And so I definitely spend a lot of time on these breakdowns as well as when I'm out there fishing, just focusing on those areas. I mean, I will get off the beaten path and fish stuff that's not around creeks and rivers and stuff like that, but not too often. Most things that I focus on are based on where the river channel is related to where I'm fishing, or where the creek bed is related to I'm fishing, or maybe where a big flat is that's close to a creek, stuff like that. All right, so let's keep going. Enough of the mumbling. We talked about up in here, or actually I don't think we did. We got past that creek channel. Now we're in here to this new little creek that comes back in here. And this looks really interesting. This could be an old pond. There could be a pond dam here. Whatever it is, there's a nice little pinch point here. You can see it. It's right in between those two. It goes from basically 24 to like 16 feet right in here, and then it drops back down to 24 feet again. So that area, just this whole area right in here, really right off the edge of that point where I put that marker at, that looks like it has some potential as well. You got a lot of good points out here on Lake Waco. That's what's cool. It's a smaller lake, but you got a lot of good points. So you can definitely go check those out. Over here, you've got some flooded timber that comes back here off of this point. And if you look, you've got a roadbed that comes through here as well. And then you've got a nice little flat top here at 11 foot right before it breaks off. I really like that a lot. And then a couple other spots I didn't really mark, but you may want to come check out, is if you get back in here, you could scan around these little humps and just see if these humps have any rock or debris on top of them. And if they do, those could be great little feeding tables for those bass to come up and feed on. So that might be definitely worth taking a look at. And as we get back in here, it gets pretty shallow, so not much to show you. So let's switch over and let's go back down this bank line. And again, you know, we talked about that river channel. That first spot that I'm going to focus on, obviously, is going to be anything down in here where this channel is actually swinging up against it. The best spot that I have really found, and you can see again, there's a lot of these fishing facilities, which we probably mark those. But right in here, any of these points, hit all these points, especially that one that I marked there. Even this one out here. You know, want to hit any of those points that come up where that river channel swing is swinging up against the bank. That is going to help you guys out a lot in finding those fish. The other thing is, this one doesn't have it as much, at least I can't tell. But if you fish right here, like right on the edge of where it starts to get really deep, but then it comes up really shallow, that's a really good like transition area typically. And typically, that's where a lot of the fish are going to hang out. So you'll spend a lot of time fishing these deeper spots, and then all of a sudden you'll get up to where it's deep, and then it gets really shallow really fast, and that's where they're all collected at. Now, not every time, and obviously that's seasonal and things like that, but that is a really good place to find them, especially when they're staging. So if they're staging to get ready to move to go somewhere else, they like to set in places like that. So definitely go check that out. Also over here, again, you're kind of looking at the end of this big break, but right here, this looks interesting too, this little spot right in here, fairly close to the creek channel. And then we talked about that side, so let's keep going down this spot over here. When we get over in here, we got a nice little flat top that comes up right here. So really like the top of that flat. It says it's got some flooded timber in it as well. So went ahead and mark that for you. You've got a really good edge out here. So basically start right there where I put that because I believe there's some rocks there, but also scan right around in here too. And then make sure you skip over the other side and scan right in here. I guarantee you this spot right in here is a really good spot. I'd bet money on it. It's just got to be the way it sets up and the way that it turns and that point comes out. You've got all these foundations, you've got all this cover and stuff out there. It just looks really, really good. The other thing you could do is you could come over here to this submerged bridge. It's only 24 feet, so it's not that deep. So it definitely comes into play. So you could check that out. And then you could also check out this little ridge right here. And I'll go ahead and mark that one for you guys as well, so you have that one. So you could check that one out as well. And then going back in here, you've just kind of got the same thing, these little points that come out, underwater points that you want to check out. So you'll check out the turn, you'll check out that little point there, and then you'll also come down here and just kind of follow the river channel back and work along these sides of these little ridges. And you'll be surprised at what you can find, that what will hang out in those areas. All right, so let's keep moving down. Didn't see too much on this side. I mean, there's some storage facilities and stuff like that. Maybe you could come back in here and check out these little areas. I don't know what those are. Those could be gravel pits and stuff like that, but maybe go check those out. But nothing really that, really gets my attention there. The next thing would be, though, is this point that comes out. Really long point. Again, you have all these storage areas. I don't know what the heck those things are, but some funky looking stuff going on there, but real good point that comes out way out here. So I like that point. That point looks really good. Let me scroll back and show you guys where I'm at. I'm getting south of the dam now. Come off that point. The next thing that I'm gonna like is really just all these little underwater points. This underwater point looks good. It's fairly close to a creek channel, so that's good. But if you swing back, you've got the spots up here as well. You want to check out these, but swing back right here where the river channel gets closer or the creek channel gets closer and swings right up against that point and creates that little top with a good break. Those are always good areas to find bass as well. You could also even look in here, like you got a little flat top in here you could look at right there. Also, you got a little hump back here. This hump goes all the way up to 9 feet. That's gonna be prime hump fishing for sure. So go check out that one. It's not as close to the main creek channel, but if you notice here, there's a little side creek that goes in and there's a pond right beside that hump. So that could be a really good spot to take a look at. Also check out these underwater culverts. Sometimes they'll collect on those culverts. And then going back in here, you've got a submerged bridge that looks really, really good, because this bridge is only about 10, 15 feet, something like that, 10 feet. So really good area to find fish as well. All right, so let's keep moving back out. We're going to go on down. We're now by the Lake Waco Marina. If we move way out here into the middle, you're going to notice there is some interesting stuff out here. One, you've got this big wall that goes out here, this levee, whatever it is, ridge. Don't know what it is, but scan that thing, man. Scan the top of it, scan the sides of it, especially if the water's lower. 21 feet's pretty deep, but that's not too deep. You can definitely fish that. And then also go over here and fish this bridge that's over here. This bridge looks like it could be money. And then obviously the outside of this little levee or roadbed or whatever it is, you're going to want to fish that too. And my guess is we probably saw that on the Google Earth imaging. We saw some kind of remnants of a roadbed and probably marked it there as well. So you're going to have plenty of markers there that tell you where that's at. But basically, if you're coming out of Lake Waco Marina, come out right off the edge of that point and you'll see that ridge, and you're just going to scan back and forth across that ridge. You're going to scan all through here as well and really spend a lot of time right in here. I would even just start right here and work your way from the river channel up and see what you can find. All right, so let's keep moving on down. Next thing, we get a little bit further down. We got a pretty good little point here. I probably should have marked that one for you guys. I'll go ahead and mark that one too, because I like how that point comes out and actually touches the river channel there. And then we get down in here, we've got a lot of different foundations that are over here. This is an interesting little place. You've also got this production storage. And if you notice, there's these little roads that come out, and all these roads go to these little foundations. So very interesting area. Definitely would want to go over there, probably throw some Carolina rigs, some crankbaits, maybe some wobbleheads and stuff like that, and just work those foundations really, really good and see if you can find anything in there. Also, this little point right over here, real good little point that comes out, touches the creek channel, and you got the submerged bridge there too with some flooded timber. That's going to be a good spot. And then now we're going to circle back up, kind of working our way back to the dam. Now, just one thing to note again, I'm not going to be able to show you every single spot on Lake Waco. That's just not possible. I'm definitely going to miss some stuff, but hopefully these waypoints will get you started on the right spot and hitting you in high percentage areas where you're going to have a better chance of catching fish. So it'll eliminate all of the bad time of fishing the spots that aren't good and really let you hone in on the spots that you want to focus in on and that are going to be more high percentage areas. So right here around Ridgewood Yacht Club, got a real good point that comes out here, some more foundations down there, plus you've got a little creek bed that comes over the side of that point. That looks really, really good. I like that area. Obviously, fishing the marinas is always good, but right outside the marinas, there's always something good. And this one looks like it's got some rock right outside of this little, I don't know, whatever this is, this wall that's out here, this sea wall. But right here, you've got a road bed, some rock, a good point, and a creek bed. So that spot right there looks like it could have some really good potential. And then we move up here to this next park. I think it's called Cohen Park. And again, you got the same type thing. You got a little creek bed that comes here. It swings over. Notice you've got a little hump here. That hump's pretty high, 24 feet. But if you follow it back a little bit further, you got a road bed over here, which looks cool. I definitely want to check that out. But also, if you look where I put that marker at, there's a really good break going on right in there as well. So coming right off that point, and it breaks right off the side there. So that could have some good potential. We talked about this one. So let's go ahead and move up. Now we're getting a little bit closer to the dam. We're almost done with the video. I figured we'd be able to get this one done, being that it was a smaller lake. Again, you've got all these buildings here, so I didn't mark them, but if they're on those foundations, maybe go out and scan all these foundations and see if you see anything related to all these foundations. There's a lot of them. And I also didn't mention while we were doing this breakdown, I'm using the the mobile app for Navionics, so the Navionics boating app. So if you want to be able to see what I'm doing here and you want this type of lake breakdown, you have to go out and buy the app, and then you basically do a yearly subscription, but it's definitely worth it. And the cool thing is you can take all these waypoints that I'm showing you here on these videos, and you can import them directly in to Navionics. So you'll have it on your phone as well as your desktop and your graphs. You can really get totally covered here. Now you also have this point that comes out here, nice flat top, good break off. Don't really have any. I don't see any major creek beds or creek channels any close by, but it's a main lake point, so it's got to be a good point. And then again, we've got this old dam or something. Maybe it's a railroad track. I'm not sure what it is. You guys that are, it is an old dam. So it's an old dam that's been submerged. Fishing on the tops and around that old dam can be really, really good. So definitely check that out. And then obviously, get out here off the edges of this thing, right where it gets to where it drops, and fish all around the edges of that. There's going to be a lot of rock and stuff like that, a lot of cover, a lot of good stuff to fish around. And then as we get up here, we're getting really close to the dam. We're going to go back in here. There's a couple spots I wanted to show you back in here. One was way back here. You got this creek bed that comes back in here, and apparently there's a bunch of piles or something right in here, a crappie pile. So I went ahead and marked that one for you so you guys knew that was there, you crappie fishermen. And then right here, there's a pond dam. You can see it, and a pinch point. I put the marker right there on that pinch point. I think that should have some potential as well. And then obviously going down in here, fish around this bridge if you can, and fish right in here. Notice how this goes down and gets really deep right here in this corner. That corner might be a really good spot to look at, so definitely go look at that. And then last but not least, we're going to go back up here by the dam, finish off with two more spots. One's going to be right here. Anytime you get those big corners on the dam and you get these spots that come out, those are always hot spots. Both those sides are going to be good sides. Right here and right here are both going to be good sides, and right in those corners. And then, of course, right out here by the dam, I don't know if you can get this close to the dam. I think you can because the buoys look like they're up there. But right here, this point that comes off the dam, that's going to be a really good point as well. You can fish around the ledge, but more than likely they're going to be up on top. And when they're up on top, they're going to be feeding like crazy, and that is going to be a good time to fish. That's going to be a great offshore spot. So that really covers us for Lake Waco. That gives us all the offshore stuff. You guys already saw the videos for the Google Earth stuff, so it gives you all those waypoints. Hopefully this will help you guys go out there and figure out your patterns on this lake and really be able to hone them in. Please make sure to go and check out our sponsors, habitoutdoors.com. When you go there, you can pick out all kinds of different fishing and hunting gear. Use code SimplisticFishing20 at checkout. You'll get a 20% discount off their site, habitoutdoors.com. Check them out, our primary sponsor, and really appreciate anything that you guys can do there to help us out. Hey, until next time, I hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.